In Chapter 14 of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explains to Prince Arjuna the nature of the universe. All of the physical world we inhabit is made up of three fundamental qualities or strands known as the Gunas. These are Sattva, clarity, goodness, harmony, wisdom and light. Rajas, passion, desire, movement, ambition and restless activity. And Tamas, darkness, lethargy, ignorance, confusion and inertia. Everything in nature contains these three gunas. The world around us, our food, our actions, the body, the senses, our emotions, and most importantly, the human mind. All people contain all three gunas within them, and the influence of each guna is constantly changing. When you feel lethargic, confused, heavy, avoidant, or trapped in despair, this is the influence of tamas. When you feel driven, ambitious, competitive, restless, and hungry for results, this is rajas taking over. And when you feel calm, clear, disciplined, truthful, compassionate, and touched by grace, this is the presence of sattva. Hindu scriptures also speak of the great cycles of time known as the yugas. There are 4 ages. Satya Yuga, the age of truth, purity, and spiritual clarity. Treta Yuga, the age of Lord Ram. Dvapara Yuga, the age of Lord Krishna, Arjuna, the Pandavas, and the Mahabharata. And Kali Yuga, the age we are now said to be living in. There is a way to understand the movement of darkness within these ages. In the earliest age, Satya Yuga, darkness and evil were far away, outside ordinary human society, in other dimensions. In the age of Ram, Treta Yuga, evil came closer, but it was still located in another kingdom, another land, embodied by Ravan in Lanka. In the age of Arjuna and the Pandavas, Dvapara Yuga, evil came even closer. It was no longer in a distant kingdom, it was within the same family. The Pandavas faced the malice of their own cousins, the Kauravas. But in Kali Yuga, the age we live in now, the darkness is no longer merely outside. It is not only in another country. It is not only in another family. It lives within each of us. The battlefield of Kurukshetra is no longer only an ancient battlefield. It is the battlefield of the human mind. In this video, we will examine the link between 3 different ways of understanding human nature. Lord Krishna's explanation of the gunas, the Hindu understanding of the age we live in, Kali Yuga, and modern psychology, especially the Big 5 personality traits and the Dark Triad. Modern psychology often describes personality through the Big 5, or the acronym OCEAN. These are openness, curiosity, imagination, and a willingness to explore new ideas; conscientiousness, discipline, responsibility, organization, and self-control; extroversion, social energy, assertiveness, and outward drive; agreeableness, compassion, cooperation, empathy, and warmth; and neuroticism, emotional instability, anxiety, fear, and reactivity under stress. The Big 5 helps us understand personality patterns, but the Gita asks a deeper question: not only what kind of personality do I have, but what force is my personality serving? Is your intelligence serving truth or manipulation? Is your ambition serving duty or ego? Is your discipline serving liberation or pride? The gunas do not merely describe behavior, they describe the quality of consciousness behind behavior. Sattva, the mind of clarity. Sattva is the guna of clarity, balance, goodness, peace, wisdom, and harmony. A sattvic person is not perfect, but they are oriented towards truth. They value discipline, they value compassion, they think before they act. They are less controlled by impulse. In modern Big 5 terms, Sattva may appear as high conscientiousness, because the person has discipline and self-mastery. It may also appear as high agreeableness, because Sattva brings kindness, empathy, and concern for others. And it may appear as healthy openness, because the sattvic person is open to wisdom, philosophy, self-knowledge, and spiritual growth. But Lord Krishna gives us a warning. Even sattva can bind us. The ego can become attached to being good, attached to being wise, attached to being peaceful, attached to being spiritual. A person can start to think, I am more evolved than others. I am purer than others. I understand what others do not. This is why Lord Krishna does not say the final goal is simply to become sattvic. Sattva is a higher state than Rajas or Tamas, but it is still part of nature. Rajas, the mind of desire. Rajas is the guna of passion, desire, ambition, action, competition, and restlessness. Rajas is the force that says, do more, win, achieve, become known, get the result. Rajas is not evil. Without Rajas, there would be no movement, no achievement, no construction, no striving, no effort. In modern terms, Rajas can look like high extroversion, high assertiveness, high drive, and sometimes high conscientiousness. The Rajasic person can be productive, energetic, charismatic, and successful. But Rajas becomes dangerous when desire becomes identity, when the person is no longer acting from truth or duty, but from craving for admiration, craving for control, craving for pleasure, craving for victory. Rajasic action is attached to the fruits of action, the reward, the applause, the status, the outcome. And this is why Rajas creates suffering, because if your peace depends on winning, then you are never truly at peace. Tamas, the mind of darkness. Tamas is the guna of darkness, ignorance, lethargy, confusion, and inertia. Tamas is not always obvious. Sometimes it looks like laziness, sometimes like numbness, sometimes like addiction, sometimes like despair. Sometimes it looks like refusing to face the truth. Tamas says, I do not want to know. I do not want to act. I will avoid this. I will stay unconscious. In Big Five terms, Tamas may appear as low conscientiousness, low openness, emotional instability, and avoidance. But again, the Gita goes deeper. Tamas is not just a personality trait, it is a state of bondage. It clouds the mind, it hides reality. It keeps the person trapped in ignorance. And in Kali Yuga, Tamas is especially dangerous, because distraction is everywhere. We can numb ourselves endlessly, with entertainment, with consumption, with outrage, with comparison, with social media, with comfort. The Tamasic mind does not necessarily look evil. Sometimes it simply looks asleep. Modern psychology also speaks of the Dark Triad. These are three darker personality patterns. Narcissism, excessive self-importance, craving admiration, and seeing oneself as superior. Machiavellianism, manipulation, strategy, emotional coldness, and using people as tools. Psychopathy, low empathy, fearlessness, and disregard for consequences. These traits exist on a spectrum. They help us understand the shadow side of personality. From the perspective of the Gunas, the Dark Triad is often a mixture of Rajas and Tamas. Rajas gives the drive. Tamas removes the moral clarity. Narcissism has a Rajasic quality. It wants recognition, admiration, status. It wants to be seen as special. Machiavellianism also has Rajas, because it is strategic, ambitious, and goal-driven. But it contains Tamas, because it lacks compassion and reduces other people to instruments. Psychopathy can contain Rajasic boldness and thrill-seeking, but its darker aspect is Tamasic, low remorse, low reflection, and blindness to the suffering caused. This combination is dangerous, because when a person has Rajasic ambition without Sattvic wisdom, they become restless. But when they have Rajasic ambition combined with Tamasic darkness, they can become destructive, highly driven, highly strategic, but spiritually blind. This leads to an important insight. A person can be intelligent but not wise. They can understand people, but only to manipulate them. They can be disciplined, but only in service of ego. They can be charming, but not compassionate. Modern psychology might describe such a person as high in assertiveness, high in strategic thinking, low in agreeableness, and high in Dark Triad traits. But Lord Krishna would have us ask, what guna is ruling this person? Because intelligence under Tamas becomes manipulation. Intelligence under Rajas becomes ambition. But intelligence under Sattva becomes wisdom. This is why the Gita is not merely a religious text, it is a map of human nature. In the Gita, Lord Krishna provides a framework for moving towards enlightenment. It is like climbing a ladder. The first movement is from Tamas to Rajas. If you are trapped in lethargy, confusion, avoidance, or despair, the first step is not abstract spirituality. The first step is action. Get up, move, take responsibility, create structure, build discipline. This is Rajas helping you rise out of Tamas. But Rajas is only the second stage. Once you become active, ambitious, and disciplined, you must refine that energy into Sattva. Your action must become clearer, less ego-driven, less attached to reward, more aligned with truth, duty, compassion, and wisdom. This is the movement from Rajas to Sattva. But even Sattva is not the end. Because even in Sattva, the ego can enjoy its own goodness, its own purity, its own knowledge, its own peace. These are golden chains. Beautiful chains, but chains nonetheless. So Lord Krishna points beyond even Sattva. The final goal is to transcend all three gunas, to reach Moksha, liberation, freedom from ego, freedom from bondage, freedom from the endless cycle of craving, reaction, birth, death, and rebirth. The person who goes beyond the gunas is not inactive. They still live, they still act, they still fulfill their duties. But they are no longer enslaved by every mood, impulse, desire, or fear. When Tamas arises, they notice it. When Rajas arises, they notice it. When Sattva arises, they notice it. But they do not mistake these movements for the self. They understand. These are the gunas moving within nature. This is very different from the modern idea of saying, this is just who I am. The Gita challenges that. You are not merely your impulses. You are not merely your habits. You are not merely your personality traits. You are not merely your darkness. You are not merely even your goodness. The deeper self is beyond all of these. The lessons of the Bhagavad Gita is that it does not reduce human beings to simple categories. We are not purely good. We are not purely evil. We are mixtures. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas move through us every day. Modern psychology helps us understand our personality. The Big Five shows our traits. The Dark Triad warns us about the shadow side of ego, manipulation, and lack of empathy. But Lord Krishna gives us something even deeper. He gives us spiritual psychology of consciousness. He teaches that the darkness of Kali Yuga is not only out there in the world, it is also within us. The battlefield is within us. And the work of life is to become conscious of what is moving inside, to rise from Tamas into action, from Rajas into clarity, from Sattva into surrender, and finally beyond all three gunas into liberation. Because the goal is not simply to become a better ego. The goal is to know the self beyond the ego, and then to act in the world without being owned by it. That is the teaching of the gunas, ancient, psychological, spiritual, and perhaps more relevant now in the age of Kali than ever before.
Thank you for watching so far. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're new here, please subscribe. This will ensure that more people can find this resource. Click the notification button so that you can be the first to know about new uploads. And please do comment below. I'll do my best to reply to any questions. Thank you.